Okay. Hey, fucking big ass reunion. Let's go. Ow. Well, I did as you asked, detective. I closed the cafe and kicked everyone out. Now, what's this all about? Oh, sad music now. Kiryu-san and his friend here would like to talk to all of you.
Hi.
I have you here for one reason alone. I'm sure you all remember the murder that took place here 6 years ago. The victim was Kazuo Oda-san, the manager of this cafe at the time. One of the employees, Yuichi Akachi-san, was arrested for his murder. Oh, there's Nozomi. But did Akachi-san really kill Oda-san? I'd like to ask each of you to think back on that day. Do any of you have any evidence, any truly conclusive evidence that Akechi-san was really the one who killed Oda-san? I've been struggling with one question since the day of the murder. Could Akechi-san really be innocent? But before I could find out for sure, an article I wrote implicating Akechi-san was the murderer got published. But thanks to Kiri-san here, we finally arrived at the truth of what happened 6 years ago. But if Akechi-kun is innocent, that means someone else is guilty. Exactly. But what do you base all this on, Kiri-san? I need to show them proof of Yuichi Akachi's innocence. What should I give? I don't know. So, you have the list of evidence. That's the last piece that we got. Usami, her testimony is basically not seeing the murderer's face. Kinoshita didn't. Oh, no. Usami didn't see the murder. Kinoshita didn't look at his face. Asai said Oda was dating someone, and that he stole Imagawa's wallet and CD. Imagawa said stuff was stolen from his wallet. And Flores said the footprint on the ashtray were made on the day of the incident. There's also Wakazu's testimony where Yuko coming to the cafe, or no record of Yuko coming to the cafe in the day of the crime. Let's actually start with Usami. So, Usami was the one who saw Akechi and Oda fight the day of the murder, isn't that right? Yeah, I left in the middle of it. In other words, she didn't actually see Akechi-san kill Oda-san. Exactly. And only Usami saw Oda and Akechi fighting. So we can't conclude Yuichi Akechi-san killed Oda, which means the charges against him could be false. Sorry, but that doesn't hold water. What do you mean? Akechi's prints were on the weapon used to kill Oda. That's all evidence to prove Akechi did it. Is that all you have to say? Huh? What do you mean? That is true. This is your case. You ought to know Akechi's fingerprints on the murder weapon alone weren't enough to convict him. I don't follow you. Spell it out for us, will you? So, if you don't remember, the ashtray was chipped because it fell, of course, and usually the waiter would wash it and I guess put it back in a queue to have it be used sometime. But since it was chipped, Akechi picked it up and threw it in the dumpster. So it wasn't really, the prints weren't washed away. The ashtray used as a murder weapon hadn't been washed because it was supposed to be thrown out. Akechi's prints weren't the only ones on it. That means you can't prove his guilt from the fingerprints alone. Detective, is that true? Yes, just as it says. So it might not have been my brother? But that's still not enough to prove someone else did it. Somebody witnessed Akechi fleeing the scene. That's another piece of solid evidence. Think about it. You'd think the person actually actively fleeing the scene of the crime is the culprit, wouldn't you? Why'd they run away if they didn't do anything? What do you have to say about that? Yuri-san, do you have any info to refute the witness statements on about Akechi-san? You do. So that should be Kinoshita's, cause He stated he saw the murder, or at least Kichi, but he didn't get a good look at the face. So it's basically an enigma he saw. Might as well be a shadow, I should say. So, Kinoshita, you saw Kichi fleeing to sea, yes? Ah, I did. Are you sure? I'm not lying. I'm sure I saw him. But you didn't see the face of the person fleeing the scene. You said that, right? Yeah, I only saw his back. So then it's possible you saw someone else. Is that all you got? The police wouldn't have arrested Akichi on any old fake evidence, you know. There's also something that proved the person Kinoshita saw was, in fact, Akichi. And what was that? The man Kinoshita saw leaving the scene of the crime was wearing an Cafe Alps waiter's uniform. The only waiters employed at Cafe Alps at the time were Kinoshita, Asai, and Imagawa-san, and Akechi, of course. Security tapes show Kinoshita and Asai out front at the time of the murder. We've also confirmed that Imagawa was at home. Therefore, by process of elimination, the only waiter Kinoshita could have seen was Akechi. Kasin, is that true? No, absolutely possible the person Kinoshita saw was not Akechi. I have a statement to prove it. Alright, why don't you share the statement with us? That should be... Where is it? Imagawa, because, as he said, his uniform was stolen as well as CDs and stuff. Other personal items. There was actually another crime committed at this cafe at the time, day of the murder 6 years ago. Another crime? That's the first I heard of it. Imagawa's uniform disappeared from his locker in the Cafe Alps locker room on that day. Imagawa-kun's uniform? Yes, my uniform disappeared from my locker. Since you were present that day of the murder, when did you notice it was missing? The day after Oda-san was murdered. I came to work, the police were investigating, so I couldn't go in. But once the police left, I looked in my locker and saw that my uniform was gone. Come on, the police probably took it as evidence. I'm sure there was plenty of stuff missing from the crime scene. You're wrong. Someone was definitely harassing me. Everyone teased me. As I could. Why don't you tell them you took my uniform? You took everything else. The uniform must have been you, too. You're so whiny. Bully, police, whoever took it. There's nothing to do with Akichi or this case. No. Imagawa's uniform is the key to this case. And what do you mean? I'll show you right now. Okay. So, we're basically proving... I think we're proving one of two things. Proving that the uniform was not taken by the police, and that Usai, even though he did steal his Imagawa's CD and other stuff, he did not take the uniform as well. So, let's do the evidence, because that's first. And the other piece of evidence is Usai's second testimony here. Look at the list of evidence I borrowed from you. There's no waiter's uniform on it. Okay, there you go. Let's see, you're right. I don't see any waiter's uniform listed. In other words, the uniform disappeared before the police showed up. If the police didn't confiscate it, who could have taken it? It was Asai-kun, right? No. Not Asai. He did steal things from you, true, but he wasn't doing it to harass you. He was just after some cash. Your wallet and CDs make sense, but your uniform wouldn't have been worth anything. Well then, who did it? Oh, you mean the murderer took it? Exactly. The criminal wanted to make it look like somebody else committed the murder. So they stole the waiter's uniform and changed into it. Then, as soon as somebody came by, they hid their face and ran out the back exit. Is that true? You're saying the person who stole Imagawa's uniform and fled the scene is the real criminal? Yes. And who might that be? The real criminal is It should not be Kinoshina. He's solid. Usami was, of course, with the victim. Asai was closing up the register. Imagawa was not there. Izumi should be very, very young. Maybe even not even junior high. I think just elementary in Japanese standards. Maeda was the detective. Yuko, she was an employee, but she was not there. She never, I think, even signed into the place. And Akechi, well, we're trying to prove his innocence, so let's go with Yuko. Yes, this is the only person who could have been. Oh.
Kiryu-san, それではその人物の名前を教えてください。6年前、小田さんを殺し、明智さんに罪をかぶせた事件の真犯人とは一体？犯人はお前だ。木下優子、お前が小田を殺した真犯人だ。
Her? Are you serious? I can't believe it. Nani? Yuko killed Oda-san? An interesting theory. But why would I kill Oda-san? I didn't have any reason to do anything like that. Yeah, Akechi's motive was Usami-san's relationship with Oda-san. That's true, exactly. How are Yuko-san and Oda-san connected? Okay. So, if you remember with Asai's testimony, we know that Oda was apparently a player, at least in his words. And that someone was, of course, Yuko. Or at least Saito. Because that's the only part of her name she knows. Oda was dating someone at the time of the murder. Somebody who used to work at cafe as a waitress. Is that true? Yeah, and her last name was Saito. Saito? That's Yuko's maiden name. I hear you worked at this cafe until just before the time of the murder. Silence. Yuko and Oda were dating? I didn't know that. Yuko, is that true? I don't have to answer that. Sorry, honey, I don't think the Fifth Amendment applies in Japan. Yuko. If Oda-san were dating Yuko-san, the Usami-san wasn't the only one cheating. Oda was cheating too. That means Yuko-san also had a motive to kill Oda-san. So anyone with a motive is a killer. You haven't done anything but hypnotize, or whatever. Exactly. You've only talked about possibilities. Do you have any conclusive evidence that she murdered him? Conclusive evidence? Like fingerprints? If only I had something with Yuko's fingerprints on it, which we have gotten recently. The second to last piece of evidence, which should be her business card. This is the evidence. Is that my business card? This business card has your fingerprints on it, as well as yours, Kiryu. We should be able to compare the prints on this card to the ones of the murder weapon. Oh, give me that business card. Let's check it out right now. We finished analyzing the prints on the card. These are Yuko Kinoshita's prints. Aha! I think one of them, those prints were in the corner. I'm not going to play the sound effect, because that'll be ruining the music. And these are the prints on the ashtray. There. Oh, it's the one in the middle. The prints on Yuko's business card are the same as the ones on the murder weapon. I don't believe it. How do you explain that? Even if my prints were on that ashtray, so what? How does that change anything? What do you mean? I ate at Alps the day of the murder. I must have just touched the ashtray while I was there. She's right. There's no crime in touching an ashtray. She was just a customer. My DualShock fucking disconnected. Shit. No, Yuko's lying. You should call her out on it. As, if you don't remember, Masako's testimony stating that she was not here, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, Yuko never came into this cafe on the day of the crime. Let's go. No, you're lying. What the hell are you talking about? There's no record of you coming to the cafe the day of the murder. Right, Detective Maeda? He's right. We had Cafe Alps employees watch all the security tapes, and they gave statements that no other cafe employees, former or otherwise, visited that cafe that day. Right, Kinoshita-san? That's right. I've seen Yuko's face before, so I would have noticed if she was on those tapes. She definitely wasn't. Which means you didn't come to Cafe Alps on the day of the murder as a customer. So why were your fingerprints on the ashtray then? Fine. Maybe it wasn't on the day of the murder. It might have been the day before. It's not that big of an issue. Nope. You've had to have been there on the day of the murder. You weren't a customer. You were the real murderer. Huh? The only person or only people who could have had these prints on the murder weapon were those who visited the day of the murder. How do you come to that conclusion? And now for the coup de grace. I don't know. I just need something to prove when the prints on the murder weapon were made. And the only piece of evidence that we have not obtained, or used I should say, was the very first piece of evidence that is not the notebook. It is the florist's testimony, stating all prints were made the day of the incident. The ashtrays here are cleaned every day, but your prints were still on the murder weapon. That means you had to have been here the day of the murder. But the day of the murder, a customer dropped the ashtray, chipping it. Yuchi Akichi saw the chipped ashtray instead of washing it, decided to throw it out. Since you couldn't have come to the cafe as a customer that day, there's only one time you could have left your prints on the ashtray. You did it after Akechi dropped the ashtray in the locker room, when he witnessed Usami cheating on him with Oda. Sometime after Akechi left and before Kinoshita came to check up on him, you entered the locker room and murdered Oda. And then you put on Yumagawa's uniform and went out the back. Isn't that right? Yuko-san, is what Kiri-san says true? It'll only get worse if you stay quiet. Shut up, I told you I didn't do it. I give up. Yuko, I'm putting an end to this. Nani? You know something, Kinoshita-san? I knew you came to the cafe that day, Yuko. Nani? How? I could smell you. It was very faint, but I could smell your perfume all around the crime scene. No way. Why didn't you say this earlier? I've been in love with Yuko ever since we were together. That's why I knew the scent of her perfume the minute I smelled it. Sometime after the murder, I happened to run into her again. Eventually, we started dating. One day, I brought up the murder and her face went white. She felt quiet and avoided commenting on anything. That's why I was sure Yuko had been here the day of the crime. Well, but I still didn't know exactly what that meant. Or I should say, I didn't want to know what that meant. When I found out Kiri-san was looking into that old crime, I decided to keep it all a secret. But now, Yuchi Akichi has suffered 6 years for a crime he didn't commit. All because I didn't say anything. It's all my fault. If I had just spoken up, none of this would have happened. Gee, Kinoshita-san.
Yuko さん、今一度尋ねます。あなたが小田さんを殺したんですか？
そうよ。私がやったのよ。
will give a statement that Yuchi Akechi is innocent. Yes. Akechi-san had nothing to do with the murder. Yuko, how could you have done such a thing? Was it really just because Oda-san was cheating? Of course, that's what it was all about. He said he was going to marry me.
Okay, autoplay. 小田さんの誕生日だった。だから私は彼を驚かそうと思ってプレゼントを持ってお店に向かったの。もうお店も閉まっている時刻だったから裏口から入ってロッカールームに向かったわ。でもそこで見たのは他の女と浮気してる彼の姿だった。私はとっさに身を引いて隠れた。落ち着いて目の前で何が起きてるのか理解しようと努めたわ。そのすぐ後に明智さんがやってきた。明智さんはロッカールームの中を覗いて小田さんと宇佐美さんの浮気現場を目撃すると手に持っていた灰皿を落とし小田さんに掴みかかっていったわ。言い争うような声が聞こえた後すぐに宇佐美さんがロッカールームから出てきて裏口から店の外へ出て行ったわ。すぐに明智さんも宇佐美さんの後を追って店の外へ出て行ってしまった。明智さんと宇佐美さんが出て行った後私はロッカールームの中へ入っていった。小田さんは私の姿を見てすごいびっくりしたみたいだったけど浮気がバレたことが分かると開き直って別れ話を切り出してきたわ。宇佐美と一緒になるつもりだから別れてくれってね。その言葉を聞いた途端完全に頭に血が上っちゃって気がついたら近くに落ちてた灰皿で小田さんを殴っていたわ。それからは桐生さんが言った通りよ。私はロッカーにあった制服に着替えてわざと裏口の前で誰かが来るのを待っていた。少しして誰かが客席の方からやってきたから顔を見られないようにして裏口から出て行った。それで部外者の自分には絶対に疑いがかからないだろうって思ったわ。
Several years passed. I ran into Kinoshina-san. We eventually got married. I started selling things as a hobby, and it started to turn into a business. Before I knew it, we grew into a large company. It's been 6 years since that day. My life's been going so well. I can't believe the truth came out now, of all times. Yuko-san. Did you ever think what it felt for Akechi-san to have to bear these false charges? What it felt like to be knocked down to rock bottom and have his freedom stolen from him these past 6 years? And think what would have happened if we hadn't revealed the truth just now. How many more years would he have suffered? Only the person who took Akechi-san's freedom away can give it back. You must turn yourself in. Testify in front of a court and pay for your crimes. Can I escort you to the station? Yes. Yuko! I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. Masaru. Thank you. Ah, man handing out papers. Extra, extra! Guilty criminal of 6-year-old murder turns herself in. The man originally accused of the crime now stands to be acquitted at a new trial. And there's an NPC fucking stuck on the fucking crowd. Oh, that's beautiful. Also, in America, that would be double jeopardy for this criminal, yes? Or is it different? I don't know if it would be double jeopardy in America. Because I don't know if it... Ah, man, I forgot if double jeopardy for American courts, if... basically due to court proceedings of a literally the same crime but at a different time. I think that's what Double Jeopardy is from the top of my head. So, whatever. I was wrong about the media. I thought you just went from one person to the next, looking for gossip. I didn't think you cared about the people in your articles. I figured you just forgot about them the second they left your pages. But you've been worrying about my brothers this whole time. You've even proved his innocence. There are decent people in the media. She said those words. Ozami-san. I also have to apologize for the way I treated you. I want to give you a reward for helping me get a retrial for my brother. I don't know. You don't owe me anything. As much as I hate to admit it, I didn't do anything on this one. Proving your brother's innocence is all the work of Kiri-san here. I certainly don't deserve any reward from you. What are you talking about? You did what a real journalist is supposed to do. What do you mean? Sure, you wrote an article saying Akechi was a murderer, but now you've written an article clearing his name. Isn't that the way a real journalist is supposed to resolve things? Sure, but I won't let this be the end of it. I'll continue to follow the truth until the day I put down my pen. That's my duty as a reporter. I'll be cheering you on. Very nice. Okay. Lovely. Got 200,000 yen. I finally broke the million yen mark. Yes. 20,000 experience points. Jeez. Okay. So, yeah, that's the end of Murder at the Cafe Alps. Let's see. More than likely got. Here we go. What's this? Oh. There we go. So, the truth about what really happened 6 years ago has been revealed. Looks like Wakazu's passion for journalism has found some new life as well. Very, very lovely. Though, I feel like I'm gonna have to split this into 2 episodes. Possibly. Right. Before we end it off... Wakazu's not there. Let us order from Cafe Alps, because we never ate here in this game. So, might as well. And to celebrate... Oh, I forgot, we can order one thing. We'll order the original beef curry set. Under 35 experience points. That's the most experience I've gotten from food or drinks. Huh. That feels good. That really made me feel like I was playing... I don't know why, but it made me feel like I was playing the Silver Case. Except without the paranormal stuff and the deep lore and shit. But, yeah. Talking about... the Silver Case. I might play this 5th or whatever ward, 25th ward. Sometime in 2024. Possibly in the middle. We'll see. And after this game, next episode should be the finale, but I'm pretty sure I said before I'll be playing the Konosuba event, or a collab event with ReZero. God's blessing on these ReZero characters or something like that. It should be around 3 to 4 episodes. So yeah, and after that, I'll be getting back to Simon 1. So yeah. With that said, I'll end it off here. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like for this episode, and don't forget to subscribe and chat with our friends. Please send feedback down below, and I shall see you in whatever episode you watch next this channel, man. Peace out. Fucking bullying the old guy here.